What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is episode number 33, and today we are starting the new season off with Racing Santander here at El Sardinero, going into our third year. Really excited for it, and as you can see, we've got a youth score monthly report to start the episode off, then seeing that two players have arrived on pre-contracts in Ander Caper and Delgado. Samuel also left the club on a pre-contract. We also see the transfer market is now open, and also our objectives for this year in the Europa League. They want us to reach the group stage, so get through our qualifier, which touchwood we should be able to do. Reached a round of 32 in the Copa del Rey. Last year we got to the semi-finals, of course, and in the Premier League, in La Liga even, finished mid-table, which we should be able to do considering we finished 6th last year. And for finishing 6th last year, we've been given a budget of £6 million and £30,000 on the wage budget. So that's a fairly decent budget, isn't it? I mean, you're probably sitting there thinking, really? £6 million? Fairly decent budget? What on earth are you talking about? Well, of course, in the first two seasons, we were very lucky to get any money whatsoever. So £6 million is actually a lot better than I was predicting, especially as we spent our money on a youth scout last year. I was thinking we might only end up with 1 to 2 million. So £6 million is more than I predicted. And I'm very happy with that. Still, those are our two pre-contract players, and the Caper looks very good, and Delgado looks pretty solid as well. In our Europa League qualifier, we'll be taking on the Norwegian side, Molde, as well. So, could be quite a tricky tie that, but I'm hoping we should be able to get through it and get to the group stages. We also put an inquiry in for Sergio Buenacasa, of course. I do really want to get him back on loan this year, if not on a permanent deal. We can probably afford to do that now with £6 million, and you guys really want him back as well. Also, George Forsyth is finally going to leave the club after 1 year of sitting in our reserves to Middlesbrough for £250,000, and again the transfer saga for Mario Fernandes goes on. Looks like a lot of clubs are going to go back in for our goalkeeper again, and Juventus said they were going to let Sergio Buenacasa go for £170,000, and I was like, oh, that's fantastic, because I wasn't really sure what to expect. I didn't even bargain with them. I was like, really, £170,000? That's incredible. They wouldn't let Carlos Blanco go for less than £1 million, though, unfortunately, even though I would like to get him back as well. But yeah, Buenacasa for £170,000, that is just going to be an absolute steal. I mean, as you guys know, if you watch my career mode series, you might know that sometimes this year when you inquire about a player on a loan list, their club will undervalue him massively. And it looks like the same has happened here again, because don't get me wrong, Buenacasa, 69 overall, I'm sure his potential is fairly decent, but he's not going to set the world alight, at least not in the first few years of his career. But he's still worth a lot more than £170,000, so the fact Juventus are going to let us take him for that is crazy. I guess he probably kicked up a fuss when he went back to Italy, and it was like, I want to go back to Racing Santander, the fans love me here, I'm not getting used here, let me go back to Spain. And clearly it looks like they are going to let him leave on the cheap, which I could not be happier about. But still, Andrial is going to leave the club for £240,000 to Numancia. That's 10 grand under his valuation, but he's 33 years old. He's a decent midfielder, but we want to build for the future here, so he was probably going to be a third, fourth choice centre midfielder this year, so I'm okay with him leaving. Bastia come in for Mario Fernandes, and it looks like he is not going to leave the club unless we do get £1.7 million minimum, as we keep on counter offering. And also Buenacasa looks like he is going to rejoin Racing Santander, this time finally on a permanent deal, as we offer him a contract and we'll wait and see what he says. Also Forsyth, the Peruvian goalkeeper, has left to Middlesbrough, which is great because now finally our squad is back to being fully Spanish, which of course is the objective of the series, so that's good. And he's gone, and there you go. And also Andrial left to Numancia for £240,000, which again I'm okay with. 10 grand under his valuation, but he wasn't going to get used here, and I do want to look to sign more younger players to play in the centre of our park. Also, Cagliari come back for Mario Fernandes and said they give us £1.3 million, and I was tempted to accept that because it seems as though like every club under the sun is once again going to put in loads of bids for him, and to be honest, I'm just sick of it really. I know I can reject all offers, but sometimes that does make your player a little bit unhappy, and I am possibly thinking about selling him and buying a younger goalkeeper regardless, but we do ask for £1.7 million regardless once again. And Bastia said he gave us 1.6 million for Mario Fernandes, and again I was like, that's a very decent deal, don't get me wrong, that's almost double his valuation, but I don't know whether I want to sell him or not. Do you know what I mean? I had the same problem in January. I was like, well, that's a really good deal. That's over his valuation, but are we going to be able to afford a goalkeeper for, you know, similar price? I'm not too sure, but still, we do ask for £1.7 million. I think that is going to be the benchmark. Anything less, even a penny less, we're still going to say no. And there you go. But finally, save the date. Sergio Buenacasa is back in a Racing Santander jersey, and this time it's for good. Really happy about that. £170,000 deal, 10 grand a week, and as you'll see, the news article says that we got a cut price Sergio Buenacasa, and yeah, it definitely feels that way. You know, don't get me wrong, I know, as I mentioned a few times already now, he isn't going to be, you know, setting the world alight in his first few years for the club, but as you can see, 69 overall, so he's already gone up by quite a few ratings since he first came on loan. He's valued at £775,000. That's under his valuation. I thought that was a pretty decent deal, or a very decent deal really, so I'm really happy about that. But we put a bid for Fernando Pacheco. We asked Real Madrid what they wanted for one of their reserve goalkeepers. I don't know too much about this guy, but he's only 24 years old. He can't be that bad, and just as a player to come in and maybe sit on our bench, he could be a decent player for us, because our reserve goalkeeper, or our backup goalkeeper I should say, is 51 overall, and one of my biggest worries is a goalkeeper getting injured. And quite frankly, you know, I don't really want to be playing in La Liga and in the Europa League with a 51 rated goalkeeper. So even if he just becomes a bench goalkeeper for us, I'll be happy with that. Getafe came in for Mario Fernandes, and again we asked for £1.7 million. And just like Bastia, they only said £1.6 million was as high as they would go. But Bastia did come back to us and said they would match £1.7 million. So I was like, well, if the French club are going to do it, then you better do the same as well. So we asked for £1.7 million, and we'll wait and see what Getafe say. Also, Real Madrid said the bid we put in for Fernando Pacheco was a little bit too low, so we go ahead and offer a new deal for him. There's no scout report on him, so I don't know how good he is, but he's valued at £275,000 according to the club, so I'd imagine he's in the low to mid 60s. We put in a new bid and we wait and see what they say. We also put in an inquiry for Oya as well, the former Barcelona goalkeeper. Again, there is so many players who I'm looking at, but I don't have a scout report on them because our scouts are really poor and they take ages to compile a report, but he doesn't seem too bad. I'd imagine he's probably in the mid to high 60s, considering the fact he used to be a former Barcelona goalkeeper and now he looks as though he's gone to a club where he should get more first team football, so we'll wait and see what happens there. And also again, Mario Fernandes, I'm not letting the guy leave unless it's any less than £1.7 million, because sorry, any less than £1.7 million? Yeah, it's got to be £1.7 million or more, because quite frankly, he's good enough to get that. And if Getafe and Bastia are going to come to us and say they'll match £1.7 million, then the other clubs, quite frankly, have to do the same. So, as you can see, Getafe did match £1.7 million, but Mario Fernandes isn't going to go to Bastia. He declined the contract that the French club offered him, so transfer talks broke down. So I was like, okay, fair enough, I don't mind. Whether he goes or whether he stays, I'm not really bothered, to be honest. You know, if he goes, we'll get a decent amount of money for him. If he stays, cool. We got our goalkeeper staying here, and of course, he's our captain as well. So there you go. Also put in a new bid for Fernando Pacheco, the Real Madrid goalkeeper, £225,000. It's not that much, so even if he is in the low 60s, I'll still be happy with the deal. And also, Almeria come back to us regarding Mario Fernandes, and again, I'm saying, guys, seriously, I've mentioned this before, I wish in career mode you could set a benchmark and an asking price for a player where it has to be £1.7 million, or else a club won't even bother. But it doesn't matter in the end anyway, because Mario Fernandes has left the club. He has joined Getafe for £1.7 million, so off he goes. And again, I don't know whether I've made a mistake there. We'll have to wait and see in the future, but to me it seemed like a decent deal, over double his valuation, and I'm sure we'll get a goalkeeper with the budget we've already got anyway, as similar overall, probably younger as well, and has more potential. Still, Manuel Pellegrini said he'd accept £90,000 for Jose Pozo, and I was like, love this game when the glitches work in your favour, you know, because he's worth a lot more than that, I know that for sure. We had him on loan in the first season, so going to go ahead and offer him a contract, and we'll wait and see what he says after they accept the £90,000 deal, as you'll see in a minute's time. Also, Fernando Pacheco, we offer him a contract as well, and also put in a bid for Madran as well. Real Madrid only want £400,000. We'll wait and see if we can get for £200,000. He was good in our first season as well on loan, and we'll wait and see what they say. City did accept the £90,000 deal for Jose Pozo, so again, looks like we could get another steal here as Jose Pozo, we offer him a contract. And also, Fernando Pacheco has accepted his contract, so he comes in for £225,000. £25,000. And as you'll see, he's actually a little bit worse than I expected. He's only 62 overall, but as I did mention, he's younger than Mario Fernandes. I'm sure he has relatively decent potential. I'm sure he could get to the 70, at least I would hope so regardless. And also it's worth mentioning that I did want a backup goalkeeper, so even if he is going to go on our bench, I'm okay with that. You know, it meets our objective anyway. So that deal to me, even though at first it may seem like a bad deal, trust me when I tell you he's not going to be our first choice goalkeeper, at least I certainly wouldn't think so. And I wanted a backup goalkeeper, it was under his valuation. The deal works perfectly fine. Still, we put in a contract for Madran, offer £300,000 for Madran, which Real Madrid do accept. Jose Pozo declines his contract, which is frustrating as hell. Seems like he wants to be an important first team player here, which he probably won't be. Same with Madran, because as we offer him a contract here, you'll see after the pre-season friendly with Cardiff that he also declines his contract, which is a shame because although Madran might be a first team player, Jose Pozo certainly won't be. So yeah, that's kind of annoying, but regardless, we'll probably go ahead and give them the squad status they want anyway, because even if they won't be important first team players, those deals are too good to turn up. You know, I mean, £300,000 for Madran seems like a bit of a steal. £90,000 for Jose Pozo is a complete steal. So there you go. Still, we had the pre-season friendly against Cardiff, which we won. Fantastic. And also, we sent our youth scout to Spain. It's going to cost us £306,000 for a 9-month scouting mission. Kind of frustrating, but, you know, he's a 5-star experience and judgment scout, so we want to use him, don't we, and get the best out of him. Still, Jose Pozo does decline his contract. Really frustrating. I'd imagine we're not going to be able to get him into this club unless he gets important first team or crucial first team player status, which he won't be. But that deal at £90,000 is too good to turn up. I mean, even if he gets sad knowing that he's not going to be playing too many games, even though he said he would be, it's worth it. You know, it's worth his morale going down, because that's such a big steal. And at the end of the day, if he gets so sad he wants to leave, we can sell him for a profit regardless. So everything works out in our favour. We also put in a bid for Ruben Blanco. Now this is the goalkeeper I really want. 68 overall, only 21 years old at Granada, and he looks very decent indeed for the future. Looks like he might cost us a couple £1,000,000 more than we want to pay there, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll have to wait and see. We put in a contract for Madran, and the last thing you'll see is a pre-season friendly with Fiorentina, which unfortunately we do lose. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. The episode is going to end there, so thank you very much for watching the video. I really do hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode of Club and Country, then please do leave a like, as it is much appreciated and it really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Club and Country very soon.